Hello, and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and the man seated next to me was born with 2 belly buttons. His name is Mike Roth.
Born twice.
Wow.
Most people, they just come out and stay out. Crawled right back in. I would not leave until I reattached. It was kind of like the Matrix.
That is creepy as hell.
Yeah, well, that's me.
Wow. Describes Mike to a T. All right. We have a few movies on the marquee this week. The first one is a movie that I saw. It is a new biopic, however you want to say it, starring Chadwick Boseman. It is called simply Marshall. It is a biopic of Thurgood Marshall. This is brought to us by Reginald Hudlin. And as I said, Chadwick Boseman, you know him as the Black Panther. He's also been in biopics of both Jackie Robinson and James Brown. And this time, he is Thurgood Marshall. It focuses on a very early Thurgood Marshall. He, at this time, is the only lawyer working for the NAACP. And he is basically just going around the country trying to work on cases that are going to do good for civil rights. Mm-hmm. He's the only one. He's helped form the NAACP. He's going around trying to right wrongs. His goal is to represent innocent people that are accused of crimes because of their race. They have to be innocent, though. He's not going out just trying to get people off. So here he is, representing a man played by Sterling K. Brown, Joseph Spell. This is one of the early cases where Spell is accused of raping and attempting to murder a very affluent white woman. And the proceedings around it, where the media and the town folk really whip up this fury about the beastly black man who is going to, if we let him out, he's going to rape all the white women. And just that fury that would be whipped up at this time. And Thurgood comes into town. He very early on, the racist judge played by James Cromwell denies Thurgood Marshall the ability to represent this man or to even speak in the courtroom. He says, you can sit there, but you're not going to be part of this case. And really just kind of hamstrings that from the get-go. The prosecutor, played by Dan Stevens, is old buddies. His dad is old buddies with the judge. So we're in the good old boy system, and Thurgood's got to find a way to fight it. He wisely hooks... Josh Gad is in this as a man, Sam Friedman. Sam Friedman is just an insurance lawyer, but he's white.
Yeah.
So Thurgood kind of hooks him. He doesn't want to be in on this at all because I'm an insurance lawyer, and he doesn't necessarily want to have his name tied to trying to help free this black man who's accused of this heinous crime. But through coercion and circumstances, he hooks Sam Friedman in as kind of his white surrogate in the room, and he's going to kind of do the speaking for Thurgood. And then the movie is basically a big courtroom drama, and it just how they're fighting the injustices of the time, and it really focuses on how Thurgood Marshall, at this point in his career, as a great lawyer who would go kind of from town to town wherever he was needed and kind of be the savior, the hope for people that needed it, didn't necessarily focus on the small case by case. He wanted to win, but he saw the bigger picture of trying to fix the system that causes these injustices. And of course, I mean, no spoiler, he then went on to be the first African-American Supreme Court justice, used that platform to try and fix the system from within. I mean, famously after this case, he fought for and won the Brown versus Board of Education, which basically desegregated schools. I mean, he was a huge thing. This movie is really focused on a small moment and just showing how he was such a giant in civil rights. And it was really interesting. Josh Gad was very good.
I kind of picture him as the guy that you could push around a little bit.
Yeah, and he was... I mean, he's a comedic actor at his heart, but he was very good as this guy who was also, this time he's a Jewish man. He's got his own thing. He's kind of a second-class citizen in this community as well. And so now he's kind of throwing his lot in with the African-American gentleman. it was a really interesting dynamic. And Chadwick Boseman, of course, was great. He was really good in this role. I haven't seen him not be amazing yet.
I really wanted to see this movie. I wish it was more broad and it got to the theater that I usually go to. But
my huge issue with this movie is the big letdown for me is because it is a big courtroom drama. That the woman, Eleanor Strubing, who is making the accusation and who has a lot of really pivotal moments in this movie, is played by Kate Hudson. Okay. And Kate Hudson could not carry her weight in this movie. And that was unfortunate because she had some pivotal moments in this film. And unfortunately, she was lacking. Everyone else in the courtroom was more intense and just was bringing something that Kate Hudson couldn't bring. And so she really stood out to me as like, oh, look at her trying. Look at her really trying. And so unfortunately, the third act of the movie is her on the stand a lot. And it really, it hurt the movie in that regards. But the rest of it was great. And it's funny because this is a very young Thurgood Marshall. I would love to see a sequel where we go see some more of Thurgood Marshall's career because he did so many great things. And it
just
felt
like the Matlock thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing that kind of, I was like, okay, great. But the movie kind of cuts off and he's still in his like 20s. He's got so much to do. He did so many incredible things that are just kind of told in 2 scripts of dialogue at the end. It's like, and then he went on to be this, and Reverend Martin Luther King called him one of the greatest African Americans ever, and he did amazing things. The end.
Is it doing well in the box office?
Not so great.
Really? That's too bad.
I mean,
because
but
otherwise, that would be really awesome.
A lot of it is that it's smaller theaters.
Yeah.
And the other part is that I don't think it's marketed great. The name Marshall doesn't really tell you what it is. A lot of people I've talked to are like, oh, I thought that was like We Are Marshall, or like I didn't know what Marshall was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of marketed oddly, but I recommend seeing it. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think Marshall's a really, really good film.
I've seen the trailers, and it seems like a fantastic movie. I can't wait until I'm actually going to be able to see it. Probably won't be.
If you dig courtroom dramas, it's a pretty good one. So there you go, Marshall. Go see it. What do you have for us?
Oh, I also have a biopic.
Ooh.
It's been a really popular thing lately.
That it is.
And we had our Bruce Lee thing just earlier.
Oh, don't remind me.
Professor Marston and the Wonder Women, directed by Angela Robinson. What we have is everybody's seen Wonder Woman by now, right? So this is the story that's supposed to be behind Wonder Woman. How was this character created? Luke Evans plays William Moulton Marston. He is a professor, and his wife, who he kind of co-professors with or co-teaches with, Rebecca Hall, she plays Elizabeth Marston. They're in a college, and because Elizabeth is a female, she really can't get the tenure she needs in order to really teach like a man can. So they work, husband and wife, they work as a team to educate students and, while at the same time, invent the lie detector. From there, they find a student as an understudy or someone to help them. And this is Bella Heathcote. She plays Olive Byrne. She helps them with the lie detector test. And in the meantime, they all fall in love. All 3 of them in a polygamous type relationship. All of them equally loving each other. From there, they start a family, they have children, and they also get into a lot of S&M. It's kind of a thing based off of William Marston's disc theory, which is about dominance and submission and stuff like that. And this is where the majority of the movie is. A lot of people might think this because of the poster, that it's all about Wonder Woman and the becoming of Wonder Woman, but the majority of this film is based on a deeply personal relationship between all 3 of these people. One of my gripes that I have about this movie, and it's a serious gripe, I know all biopics take their liberties and make up things in order to embellish the story, make it more likable, but in this case it was such a deeply personal situation, and the writer and director, Angela Robinson, she didn't try to contact anybody. She actually avoided contact with anybody who actually knew these characters because she had the story already in her head, and she didn't want anything to ruin her inspiration. That is fine too, but bill this off as the true story, and a lot of people are buying this hook, line, and sinker.
Sure.
And people who have known these people, and yeah, they've all passed away, so there's no lawsuits you could have, but family members who wish that they were talked to, because they were really open. Their family were the Marstons. They don't have qualms about, talking about sex or relationships. They're pretty liberal-minded, educated people, and they weren't bothered to be contacted. And because of it, the family is saying, no, this is not how it is. Elizabeth and Olive, who they they dress as Dot and Graham, it's like they were like sisters. Mm-hmm. And this relationship, which the meat of your movie is about, is totally fabricated.
Wow.
So, and to me, it feels like a lot of people are calling this movie as courageous and bold, sure. But to me, it feels exploitive. It's like TMZ outing someone who wasn't ready to come out. That's not courageous. That's unethical. Mm-hmm. And I look at this movie as unethical. I know a lot of our biopics totally fabricated, like our Bruce Lee movie, based entirely on a rumor, on an article. But that is a very shallow movie. This is a deeply personal movie, and to call it an absolute true story is wrong. And therefore, I am not giving this movie a score.
Interesting.
I don't think this is ethical. And unfortunately, it seems like a lot of movies go this way. Mm-hmm. If something's not true, you really should just say inspired or based on facts that happen.
Based on true events. Yeah.
They're billing this as true, and I believe most of it is because of the wild success of Wonder Woman.
Sure.
They felt like it was okay to bring this out, and people will buy it.
Interesting.
So that's what I got for you.
A first on the show, a review without a score, but I like your justification.
We had one other,
and
that was a movie with Kevin Hart that was not a movie.
Oh, that's true. This is true. Remember that? The concert
it was just
quiz.
A stand-up.
Yeah. Wow. All right. The next film we have on the marquee is the return of Jackie Chan to the big screen from director Martin Campbell. We have The Foreigner. Jackie Chan plays a man he's an overprotective father. Loves his daughter, is very protective of her. Very early in the movie, you see this right here. Big explosion. His daughter, as well as many others, are killed in this explosion. A group calling themselves the Authentic IRA are claiming credit for this bombing. And Pierce Brosnan plays a politician now who has roots as one of the heads of Sinn Féin, the IRA terrorist organization, and he has some shady dealings going on. Jackie Chan, obviously dealing with this overwhelming pain and sadness of losing his daughter. This pain triggers some revenge in him. And he basically just wants one thing: give me some names. Just give me, and he is persistent. If nothing else, Jackie Chan's character is persistent as he tracks down anyone who may know anything about this bombing and the group that is claiming credit for it. Just give me their names. I don't want anything else. Just give me their names. Of course, no one's willing to give him these names because the movie also delves into this thing about this uneasy peace accord between Northern Ireland and Great Britain and all of the things surrounding that. And Pierce Brosnan, as the politician, doesn't want anything to ruin this peace that he's helped to foster through his years. And he's trying to track down these guys, and there's a whole messy entanglement with that. And then Jackie Chan keeps showing up.
Yeah.
Just kind of unassuming old man. Just keeps showing up. Just give me the names. That's all I want. Mm-hmm. He's like a MacGyver and a Mr. Wizard combined. We find out he's special forces. I love it. They show old pictures of young Jackie Chan, like this was him in Special Forces. Like, I remember that movie where that's from.
I like how polite he is when he walks into the office and he says, "Thank you very much. I just need the names, blah blah blah."
And I think that's the best part of this film is the fact that he's able to play kind of just this quiet old man. And they're like, even everyone in the film's like, I don't know, some old Chinese guy came in here. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he does Jackie Chan stuff, and he's not. Even when he brings violence upon people, he's not killing people.
Oh no.
He's sending messages But he doesn't kill him. He's sending a message, just this now, give me the name. I broke this on this part of your body. Now just give me the name. That's all I want. I'm not here for you. I'm here for who killed my daughter.
This seemed like a really corny part of the movie, but I loved it. There's a scene where you see a dog lying still, and Pierce Brosnan, he's like, "You killed my dog," and they actually said no. He's just sleeping. It's like you could have made the movie grittier by not doing that, but because you're Jackie Chan, you're going to say, nah, animals is fine. Everybody is fine. Just give me the names.
Unfortunately for me, man, Pierce Brosnan, again, is just kind of there. He is just replacement level actor at this point, where it's just him. He's supposed to be menacing. I mean, like they mentioned, like, oh, you were the butcher back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of him dispatching cronies to do things and constantly being outsmarted. He's constantly outsmarted for the entire movie, which makes me go, he's not that scary.
Actually, I mean, I didn't like his accent, but
yeah.
Besides that, I thought his character fit in well. He's supposed to be this guy who was tough, but he's not tough anymore. Yeah. He's not smart anymore. He's just a finger puppet, pretty much, for his agenda. And I thought Pierce Brosnan was able to play kind of a mealy guy who could bring it out every once in a while, but you don't really take it seriously. I thought he did that pretty good.
Unfortunately, that's how he played Bond through the last 3
movies. He was the worst Bond. But I thought his portrayal of this character actually fit well, whether he wanted it to or not.
Oh, fair enough. It's nice to see Jackie Chan back. I thought this was a really good role for him.
Yeah.
He's an older man. He's not doing. I don't think he's doing his own stunts anymore, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
they have to.
They did try to make it seem like he was doing all the Jackie Chan stuff, and the action in this is fun. But a lot of it is the same kind of complaints I have with a lot of action movies. Here's a close-up of the fist. Here's someone falling back. Blah blah blah, and you're not seeing a seamless action scene like what you should see in a normal Jackie Chan movie.
You do get to creative use of household items during a fight. That's a Jackie Chan classic right there.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's using everything around him.
People are falling, like, with grace around him. I love that scene where he kicks that guy through that small door and he's just, whoop!
Beautiful drop kick. So I enjoyed it. It was nice to see Jackie Chan back. I don't think the movie's anything amazing, but it's a good, fun action movie. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars.
There you go. I give it a 3.5. I really enjoyed Jackie Chan, and I think Jackie Chan, just his presence gives things a point for me. But, I enjoyed the movie. Got a little wonky in the end.
Yeah, it did.
I'm not going to tell you the ending.
It did. What do you have next on the marquee?
Happy Death Day. Terrible name. I really enjoyed this movie, and I'm going to tell you why. Everybody's seen Groundhog's Day. They don't make any qualms by saying they're not kind of copying this. This is a young college student. She wakes up every day on the same day, and it's her birthday. The ending of every day ends up her getting killed, and she has to find out who her killer is every day. And just like Groundhog's Day, there's a lot of problems with reliving the same day. Some days you get a little bored. Some days you're just like, screw it, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do anything I want. And other days you get serious to find out what the problem is and then solve it so you could get out of this hell of just reliving the same day over and over again. She has one little problem with her day, which I believe Bill Murray did not. Every time she's killed, she actually does take a little bit of injury. And she goes to a doctor, and the doctor's like, hey, you are dying. You got all these scars and stuff from all these tragedies, and obviously you seem like a healthy person. What's going on? Rebecca Roth, she plays Tree Geldman. She is the main character, and she gets help from the boy that she meets every day.
The dude she had a one-night stand with.
Yeah. When you find out more about this, but he's just like this really nice guy who's willing to help her. He would really like a date with her, but at first the popular girl doesn't give him a chance, but after your 100th time of dying and coming back, you warm up to that person, I guess.
And that's the thing, is she is a terrible, selfish, conceited person.
She is the mean girl.
She is the worst.
She is the worst. But just like in Groundhog's Day, and yes, they do mention Groundhog's Day
they
in
reference
this movie.
it.
Overall, I thought it was fun. This is definitely not deep, and the ending on this is also a little wonky. It felt a little Scooby-Doo with the detective work, but I was interested through the whole thing, and I thought it was fun. Where a lot of horrors nowadays, it's all dark and dismal and gritty. This one felt a little bit more upbeat. You could
feel upbeat.
Laugh a little bit when people...
It did. And I thought Jessica Rothy was good as Tree. The look of the killer. The fact that she goes to a school that's mascot as the Bayfield Babies.
Yeah, that's not menacing at all, is it?
Wow. Thing is, she adjusts very quickly to this happening to her. Like the first time she wakes up and it's repeating the day, she kind of quickly is like, yeah, this is a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
She's really the worst person on Earth. And I wanted bad things to happen to her.
Yeah.
When the killer came, I was like, get her again.
And you don't feel bad for her over and over again.
She's not sympathetic to me.
By the time you could have felt sympathy, she was so used to it, who cared?
Here's my couple of things with this movie.
Oh, no.
First off, they wrote... It annoys me that in 2017 we're writing college girls to be... Well, all this girl does is go out, get drunk, wake up in some guy's room, and have sorority girl fights.
Yeah.
That's her character.
Yeah.
She's a drunk who sleeps with, has one-night stands, and then has sorority girl fights. There's your character.
Yeah.
That is horribly... it's so dated of a character to me.
Well, this is exactly like Groundhog's Day.
Well, and that's the problem is the filmmakers know that you know what this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, don't worry about it. And so for me, that led to some horribly flawed writing in this movie. I brought my 11-year-old to this movie because it's a PG-13 horror movie, so there's no real scares.
Yeah.
He called the end of this movie 10 minutes in. When my 11-year-old is calling the end of your movie, you have some script writing problems.
Well, he's seen Groundhog's Day.
They also never explain why this is happening to her.
Just like Groundhog's Day.
Problem is, Groundhog's Day has Bill Murray, and this does not.
No, you're absolutely right on that one.
You have the charisma of Bill Murray.
And if I was to give Groundhog's Day a review, I guarantee that would be a 5. I love that movie.
Absolutely.
It's a fantastic. I'd give it a 6. I'd crank it up.
I mean, they know going in that you know what this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
So right away, they start introducing suspects to you because they know you're going to be looking for the whodunit right away.
Yeah.
So that could be this person, could be this person, because she's horrible to everyone.
Yep.
And then, okay, now who's it going to be?
And that's the Scooby-Doo ending.
The problem is, I'm sitting next to a 6th grader who's like, it's that one. That's still going to be the one at the end.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Really?
Yes,
Nice.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, there are no stakes in this movie. She is getting killed. You know every time she dies, she's just going to wake back up. So it doesn't, none of the kills matter, to the point where she's just like, go ahead and kill me. I'm just going to wake back up.
That's actually what I loved.
Oh,
really. And
it was so
the
annoying.
only time she really, really cared was when the doctor is like, yeah, this is going to be permanent someday. What's going wrong with you?
I mean, the only thing that I really liked about this movie was they were starting to introduce kind of the psychological torture of knowing that you're going to die today.
Yeah.
And then they quickly veered away from that real fast and then went back to just the same old montages of her dying.
Yeah, but because she is a rotten person. So every time it dies,
but they want her to be sympathetic. They really want her to be sympathetic. They want you to care about her. They want everyone in her life to treat her better. They want her to learn from her experiences.
Just like Groundhog's Day.
No.
She becomes a better person. The whole thing. I don't want to ruin it, but if you've seen Groundhog's Day, it's ruined.
But I know that that's what they want. But if you're trying, if your whole goal is to be a lesser version of Groundhog Day, like from the outside, what if we write a crappier version of Groundhog Day? Well, that's a horrible idea because it's a great film.
Yeah.
And just saying I'm going to write a bad version, I know is going to be a worse version of that movie.
See,
let's make it.
I would rather have them reboot Groundhog's Day completely different than actually reboot.
It just feels lazy to me. It just feels lazy to me. What did you end up giving Happy Death Day?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I gave it a 4. I had a great time.
I'm still waiting for
yours is very low.
I'm still waiting for the good horror movie. No, I give it 2 stars. It is below mediocre. It's I would not recommend seeing Happy Death Day.
But I would.
Well, fair enough. All right, let's move on. Let's take a quick look back, sir, to 1995. We're talking about Thurgood Marshall. He became a judge.
Yep.
You know another famous judge?
Judge Reinhold.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. How about Judge Dredd?
Oh!
Sylvester Stallone shows up. Danny Cannon's Judge Dredd. Sylvester Stallone. It's based on the great comic book series in a future where judges are the police, the jury, and the executioners. In Mega City 1, there is one judge who reigns supreme, Judge Dredd, played by Sylvester Stallone. He's got all the one-liners. He is being tracked. He's dealing with Armando Sante, great villain Armando Sante, and the comedic relief of Rob Schneider, because why not?
This whole movie is really a comedic relief. Just the suits and stuff, and they stay really true to the comic book.
Except for the fact that he never took his helmet off in the comic.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
never.
You're right.
And I mean, I dare you to find a scene where he has his helmet on in this movie.
But you got Sylvester Stallone. Tell you what, when the first time I saw this, I really didn't like it. I loved the other one that they made.
Demolition Man.
No,
Oh, the new Dredd?
The new Dredd.
That's just the Raid Redemption is all that is.
Yeah, but I loved it.
This movie is a total guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
It's just such bad 90s hokey filmmaking.
Oh, yeah.
And this was in a bad period of Sylvester Stallone's career. But
this is almost like a history lesson when you have to watch it. I mean, really.
They bring in great actors like Max von Sydow and Diane Lane to be in this. What? It's insane, but it's hokey and fun.
Yeah, I would suggest if you are bored, I mean, go and check it out.
It's 95. That's the last time anyone cared about what Rob Schneider was doing.
Exactly. Well, I mean,
I know
Adam
you
Sandler
love Deuce Bigelow, but I mean that's neither here nor there. So we actually recommend Judge Dredd.
Yes, we do.
Why not? Don't blame us. Let's take a quick look ahead before we go. What is coming out the weekend of October 27th? We have 4 films, sir. The first one is All I See Is You. Blake Lively is blind, and then she gets her sight back.
Oh,
Things
no.
might not be as she thought they were with her and her husband. We'll find out. Stay tuned, Michael.
Wow.
The next one is we decided to bring this franchise back to life. Jigsaw, the new Saw movie, is back.
Your wish for a good horror movie is not going to happen.
I don't think it's coming that weekend. We also have a movie starring Matt Damon, directed by George Clooney, Suburbicon. Written by the Coen brothers. This looks like a combination of things that I like. So yeah. I'm looking forward to Suburbicon.
They have a great little soundtrack during their preview, and it looks interesting.
I'm in. And last but not least, we have Thank You for Your Service. Miles Teller stars as a soldier coming back with suffering from PTSD and kind of really focusing on that and the other soldiers that are with him. Looks pretty interesting to me. Those will all be October 27th, though. Before we leave you, though, we have to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters, the Palace here in Sun Prairie. Thank you for sponsoring the show. We do appreciate it. If you want to find more from us, you can always find us on Facebook and Twitter at Real Reviews TV. You can find Mike just hanging out. Anytime you want to come by the studio, Mike will be here. You can find a whole bunch of episodes if you search for us on YouTube, Real Reviews, KSUN, KSUN, or by going to sunprairiemediacenter.com.
And just let everybody know, if you are in the mood for Halloween movies,
yes.
Marcus Theaters all this month has been doing their retro
I'm taking
Halloween.
My son to see The Exorcist.
So
I'm
when this
ruin
airs,
somebody's childhood.
If you watch this before Saturday, go out and see The Exorcist.
Absolutely. Next week, we're going to be talking about Geostorm, Only the Brave, The Snowman, and Boo 2. It is our Halloween episode next week. What will we be? Who knows?
Scariest word ever invented.
Can't wait. But until that time, I'm Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.